Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. Ex-wife, 35, and I, 34, were together for 10 years, married for 5. When we were 25, after having our second child, ex and mother-in-law convinced me to get a vasectomy. I didn't want to get snipped, but ex-wife was having a hard time with birth control and was convinced we were done having kids. Mother-in-law got heavily involved and convinced me to just do it and save sperm at a bank in case we want another one in the future. I got snipped, and 5 years later, ex cheats on me and gets pregnant. I decided to divorce her and lost the house that I brought into the marriage. My grandmother left me the house when she passed away. I was 18 at the time. The guy my wife cheated with refuses to be in the child's life and decided to stay with his wife. So that left the child fatherless, and ex decided to give the child my last name. Due to the laws in our state, I'm the child's father regardless of DNA because he was conceived during our marriage. Even with the DNA test, ex tells everyone I'm a piece of crap and the child is mine, and I refuse to be in his life. Everyone around me is constantly telling me I need to man up and take care of the child. When we went to court for custody, I was told I can have custody of all 3 children or no custody at all. The judge was a total jerk and didn't care what the situation was, just that I have a legal duty to be that child's father. I took the custody, but wife never forced me to be in the child's life. After a few years of co-parenting, aside from all the extra child support she's getting from me, things have been great between ex and I. I finally got my life back on track and met someone. We're currently engaged and happy. Ex-wife isn't happy about me being happy, so now she's trying to force custody on me. She's constantly saying I should take her son with our other children on the weekends and demanding that I make him a part of my life. My ex even went as far as to make Facebook posts blasting me about how I've never done anything for our son. She's even telling our children that I neglect their brother and hate him. My fiance says I should let it go and just take on the responsibility because it's not fair he doesn't have a dad, but my other kids do. She says we can handle it, and I should try it out because I'm paying support for him anyways. I just said no and have been avoiding the subject. I've been upset, and I'm starting to feel like no one is on my side about this. I don't want anything to do with the child. I thought my fiance understood, but she doesn't. She just says I'm wrong and being bitter about the situation and should give it a chance. Am I wrong for not wanting to be in my ex-wife's affair baby's life? Edit. I'm going to address the reason I lost the house here. First things first, we did not have a prenup. I didn't live in the house until we got married. It was our marital home. For 2 years during our divorce, she fought for the house. My home was my wife's home for 10 years. During those 10 years, I made numerous renovations for her, not for myself. We had an addition built onto the house for her crafts room, the kitchen redone 2 times, the living room and a walk-in closet built for her. Due to the amount of money I spent on the renovations, she claimed that she wanted the house because I built onto and in the house for her. When all was said and done, I was more than likely going to have to sell the house and split the money with her. All she was asking was for the home. We decided in the end that she could have the home and pay for her own attorney's fees, and I would keep everything else. I got to keep our project car and most of the assets, our savings, and some possessions we wanted to split. I wanted the house, but also I wanted my kids to have a roof over their heads and not get moved around until she found somewhere suitable. Edit 2. I would gladly be a good father figure for my ex's son. All I ask is that she goes after bio-dad for support, removes me from the birth certificate, and stops telling people I'm the father. It's not a lot to ask for. I'm asking for her to own up to her mistakes, and we can move forward. I'm upset I lost the house, yes, but currently that house puts a roof over my sons' and daughters' heads, so I'm not mad about that. As for my fiance, she did nothing wrong. I just upset myself listening to her reasoning. She is a loving, caring woman who has a big heart and sees 2 human beings hurt currently. I appreciate all the replies, and I'm going to move on with my life. Hopefully down the line, I'm able to afford an attorney who can handle getting this done, or my ex steps up and does the right thing. To all the people who understand how I feel, I appreciate you. I just hope no one has to go through what I've been going through for the last 4 or 5 years of my life. Well, looks like OP needs a better lawyer, and to grow a spine. OP's non-confrontational nature is another way of saying he's a giant pushover, a doormat. OP lets people walk all over him. Just because she's the mother of OP's children doesn't mean OP has to let her continue to push him around after they have long been divorced. The time for a lawyer was as soon as OP found out she was cheating. OP can't fix the past, but he can fix the future. OP needs to grow a pair, lawyer up, stop the bleeding, and see what can be done. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Snewwards 4839 says, "Get a better lawyer, DNA test through the court, and refuse to play her games. Post the DNA results on her post." Typical Agency says, "It's called marital presumption. Have you tried going to legal aid and filing pro se? In my state, all you have to do is file a motion to reopen paternity, and once the courts order the test, the issue solves itself once the results come back. Now, some states have limitations on the reopening of paternity. Again, legal aid can refer you to affordable attorneys. In the long run, it will be cheaper to hire an attorney than continuing to pay support." Agreeable Book 7018 says, "This happened to my brother. His wife got with another guy and had 2 kids with him. Because they were still legally married, my brother was paying child support for 3 kids. Finally got a DNA test, and the judge took all the child support that had gone towards the 2 younger and put it towards his daughter alone." I, 31 female, am close friends with Lisa, 33 female. We met at college and became roommates, and I love her to death. Lisa has a sister, Amy, 20s female, whom I've met occasionally in college, but she was so young at that time, we never really hung out. Lisa had a bridal shower in February, as I financially contributed to most of it since I wasn't able to be there in person to help with the planning. I gave money to Amy to pay for everything, the decor, food, and alcohol. I even paid for an overnight stay at a hotel for all 7 girls. I did all of this because I couldn't make it to the bachelorette party the week before. I had also paid for the limo Amy wanted to host the party in. At the shower, I saw Amy, and she was gushing about how I had spent a lot of money on Lisa. I just said if it's for Lisa, I would have paid for anything. Amy was hinting that my job was paying so much money for me to spend on Lisa this much. I'm a new surgeon, just graduated from residency. I got a pay bump, but not a lot. I'm lucky because my husband is supporting me while I go through fellowship. My husband, 40 male, is a doctor too, but so much more advanced in his career than me. For my wedding gift, he paid off the remainder of my student loans. He is amazing, and I am obsessed with him. Wedding happened in March. My husband and I came for the wedding. Family and close friends were invited to Lisa's parents' place for dinner after. Amy was very handsy with my husband. Even during the wedding, she was asking him about his job, how smart he was to be working in the ICU, how hot he was, how he looks like a young Alain Delon, blah blah. My husband was giving me signals to come to him, and I did. This happened at least 2 more times. At Lisa's parents', Amy was wrapping her arm around my husband's back and was serving him drinks and food. I told Lisa's mom about how Amy's making me and my husband very uncomfortable, and her mom pulled her aside and told her off, I think, because she came out grumpy. She was still acting like a crazed teenager because when we wanted to leave, she wouldn't give my husband his jacket back to him and kept sniffing it. I had a feeling that she was drunk and completely out of it. My husband raised his voice and told her to stop messing around and give it to him. I yelled, "Can you stop being so difficult? You've been shamelessly flirting with my husband in front of me the whole day. Give him the damn jacket and leave us alone." I got a text from Lisa's mom demanding I publicly apologize to Amy, as in post on social media, a heartfelt apology, because some of the guests heard me yell at her and thought I was overreacting and humiliated her. Lisa is on my side and told me Amy has always had gold-digging tendencies and that this isn't the first time she'd done something like this. She flirted with her friend's dad and their next-door neighbor who is married when she thought that they were wealthy. Lisa said that she'll handle it. I already felt so bad I ruined the last moments of her wedding day, and now she has to deal with this. I'm ruminating on this a lot lately and wondering if I should apologize to Amy. I don't want to, but then again if I did, I would explain exactly what happened and how it merited my reaction to her. Though this might add fuel to the fire. There is so much drama right now, and I want to preserve my friendship with Lisa. Well, I think Lisa's sister should apologize for being an embarrassment to her family. These are the consequences to her actions. OP did nothing wrong and should definitely not apologize. Lisa said she'll handle it, so OP should let her handle it. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Hill Mickelson says, "Are you kidding me? That girl publicly flirted with your husband and showed no respect for you, your husband, or your relationship. You didn't say anything wrong to her. You simply stated the truth. If she and her family didn't like it, it's not your problem. Don't humiliate yourself by apologizing to her, because all you've accomplished is validating her behavior and essentially telling her that she's free to keep flirting and pursuing your husband. Stop having the spine of a jellyfish and stand your ground. Be careful, because after that incident, she might try to contact your husband behind your back." Bored Panda 55 says, "Do not apologize. Tell the mom your husband is the one that deserves the apology from Amy for stepping over boundaries and harassing your husband all night. This wasn't just flirting. This was downright harassment of your husband. He said no how many times? If her daughter hadn't been harassing him, even after they and you talked to her, you wouldn't have had to call her out. From the sounds of it, Lisa understands why it happened. Amy should apologize to her as well." Brewboy Ed says, "It sounds like Lisa is extremely understanding. I think you let Lisa know, if you haven't already, about how bad you feel about ruining the last moments of her wedding, though I doubt you did, and offer an apology to her. Then state something along the lines of, 'Other than you and your husband, though, I'm not apologizing to anyone else.' I think you're right in that if you explain publicly how it really went down, it's not going to do anything but cause more problems." I'm currently planning a wedding with my beautiful fiancée, Susan. We're having some clashes with my mom, who is far from Susan's favorite person. In the past, I've always taken Susan's side and set appropriate boundaries. Growing up, my parents taught me that marriage comes first, and you don't put anyone before your spouse. My mom is currently stuck on this yellow dress she wants to wear to our wedding, as yellow has always been her favorite color, and she just loves it. It is yellow by a margin. It is a very pale yellow, and you can see where this is going. Yeah, it is also floor-length and lacy, so of course not appropriate for the mother of the groom. This has made Susan go from disliking my mom to hating her. I've made it crystal clear that if my mom shows up in this dress, she will not be let in. My dad has asked us to drop it and let him handle it. He claims we are just upsetting her more, and he can deal with it, but he has also implied that we are drama queens, and it is yellow. My dad likes pranks, so Susan approached him recently about the yellow dress. She said since he enjoys a good practical joke, would he help the day of, and if needed, spill wine on my mom? Now my dad does like pranks, but he would never ever humiliate his wife in public, nor has he done anything in the past to indicate he would. He got heated and began yelling at Susan that she is delusional if she thinks he is on her side, and he would never choose anyone over his wife. He said she insulted him as a man by implying he would prank his wife by humiliating her on a special day. Then he demanded she get out. Susan was shocked, but I wasn't really, as she did insult him as a man and a husband. I told her we should go. She began to cry and demanded to know if I was really not going to do anything. I said I couldn't do anything, when she just insulted his marriage and his integrity. Note, she was being dead serious. It wasn't a joke. She didn't talk to me the ride home and still says she can't believe I let any man yell at her like that. My dad still isn't speaking to Susan, and someone told my mom, so now she is a neurotic mess and crying about how she is scared to come to the wedding. I roll. I feel Susan never should have asked that of him and should have trusted me that I would not have let her in. First preschool teacher says, "Everyone sucks here. 1. Your mother sucks big time because your fiancé said no to the dress. A very, very pale yellow lace floor-length dress is inappropriate for a wedding. Traditionally, the mother of the groom wears beige, unless another color is approved by the bride. This all should have ended as soon as your fiancé said no to the dress. Your mother is not a 3-year-old who has to wear a certain color party dress because it's her favorite color. 2. Your father sucks because his comment that he will handle it is not really reassuring to a bride who is not being taken seriously by her future mother-in-law. He also sucks because all he needed to do was say that he would never do something that would humiliate his wife publicly. His comment to your fiancé that she is delusional if she thinks he is on her side really makes me wonder if he was going to intervene at all. 3. Your fiancé sucks because she shouldn't have asked that of your dad. However, she is both young and a bride who is feeling disrespected, so she kind of sucks the least. 4. You suck because you should have stood up for her when your father started yelling at her. His yelling when a firm no was sufficient was uncalled for. Both your parents sound very immature. It's Big Fungus says, "You're the a-hole. specifically for this line. She did insult him as a man and a husband. This mindset is the definition of toxic masculinity. You are way overreacting to what she suggested. Should she have suggested it? No. But a reasonable response would have been, no, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that, and leave it at that. Not act like she's dishonored your lineage or some crap. C. Majiskula says, everyone sucks here. Your mother for trying to wear a yellow dress, very likely to be confused with a wedding dress. Your fiancé for trying to have a humiliating backup plan, although if your mother somehow got in and changed into that dress, she would deserve it. Your father for getting that bit out of shape. You for not trying to resolve the situation immediately, instead of making a break for it and leading your wife to believe your father's image as a real man is more important.